So now we're going to create the entity green cow class, and first we've got to extend something, so we've got to drop that curly bracket down one line, and after entity green cow we need to put extends entity animal. Now this is the class that holds the stuff that, let's say, the animal can mate, or it the little child follows their parent, or this animal follows wheat when you have it in your hand. So we have that, and then after the top line we need to import java.util.random, which is something that's needed for this class to not have any errors after finished. So that's the imports and extends done. So we're going to create our first constructor, which is public entity green cow, 2 brackets, and put world, 2 curly brackets afterwards, and now we need to put super world. So this is like the base of this constructor that you need to put in, and that's our first constructor done. So now inside this first constructor we're going to add our texture, so we're going to put texture equals, and then we're going to put a location of it, so we're going to put greencow.png. so that's going to be directly inside the bin folder within Eclipse client of your MCP, not forgetting the semicolon obviously. So that's directly inside the folder by itself, and that's our texture done. The next thing we're going to do is our move speed, so we're going to put move speed equals, and I'm going to put 0.5f, which is a normal speed for a mob. So that's your move speed done. So now we're going to add our first task. To know what these tasks are, so I won't need to explain them again, look at the previous mob tutorials. But we're going to add our first task, so tasks.add task. The number, so 0, so it's the first one. What the task is going to be, so we're going to put new, and this first one's going to be entity AI wander. So this is when the entity wanders about. And now we need to put 2 normal brackets afterwards and put what's going to do this, so this entity, and then the speed of it, so 0.2f, so quite a slow pace, as if it's just strolling about. And that's our first task done. So now we're going to add our second task by copying the first one and pasting it, and then changing the 0 to 1, and then we're going to change the entity AI wonder to entity AI panic. So this is when you hit it, it panics, and then we're going to say what does it, so this, and then the speed it panics, or when it moves, I'm going to put 0.4f, so not as fast as it's walking, but still quite a fast speed. And that's your second task done. So now we're going to put in our third task, which is entity AI watch closest, by copy and pasting that one, put in 2, change this to watch closest, and then basically this allows the entity to stare at the player when the player is close enough. So we can say what's going to do it, so this, and then we're going to say what it's going to watch, so us, so net.minecraft.source.entityPlayer.class, comma, and then we're going to say how fast its head will move, put 6f, so it moves quite fast, so there won't be any lag or glitching of its head. So that's the third task done. So now we're going to put in these last 3 tasks, which are going to be to the entity animal only, and that is the mating and the following the wheat. So the first one we're going to do is the mating. So we're going to copy that one, put paste, add task, change the 2 to 3, enter watches to entity AI mate. And now this is going to be quite disturbing, but the first thing is what can do this, or mate with capital M. Anyway, the first thing is going to be what can do this with this, and the next thing is going to be the speed. So yeah, the speed of how it mates basically. So I'm going to put that 0.2f just so nothing gets injured. Yeah, but yeah, that's our fourth task done. So the next thing I'm going to do is the entity AI tempt, which is the task that allows the entity to follow you if you've got wheat in your hand. So what we're going to do is copy this and paste it, change the 3 to 4, change the entity AI mate to tempt, and then we're going to say what's going to do it, so this, what's the speed of which is going to follow you, so 0.25f seems quite good. What's going to follow when it's in your hand, so we're going to put item.wheat.shifted index. And now we've got to put false. And now I think false is saying that if you're such a distance away, it'll stop following you. But yeah, that's our penultimate task done. So now the very last task we're going to do is the follow parent one. So copy this and paste it, change 4 to 5. AI temp to AI follow parent, and then all we need is who's going to do it, so this and the speed at which it follows their parent, which is put 0.25f as well. So that's our last task done. So now we're going to put in a new constructor which is going to be called public boolean is AI enabled, and then 2 normal brackets, and we're going to return true. So this is saying that if is the new AI from the recent update is enabled, and we're saying it is, so it uses the new AI, which I believe is the one where if it's burning, actually I'm not sure if it works with animals, but it's best seen in hostiles, where if it's daytime it goes to shade, and if it's burning it jumps in water. So yeah, so that's the AI enabled constructor done. So now we're going to define the health bit, so we can put public int get max health, 2 brackets, 2 curly brackets, and we're going to return the number of half hearts health it's going to have. So I'll put 10. So it's just saying that it's got 5 full hearts of health, and that's our max health done. So the next thing I'm going to do is the sound, and I want it to sound exactly like a cow. So I've come to entity cow, and I've copied and pasted this code, and I've pasted it in here and took away the notations. So it's saying that when it's living it sounds like a cow, and when it's hurt and dies it also sounds like the cow getting hurt. So that's our sounds done. So now I'm going to put the item it drops, and it's going to be a single drop like for my friendly mob tutorial. So you're going to put protected int get drop item ID, null brackets, 2 curly brackets, and we're going to return item dot apple red dot shifted index. So I want it to drop a random amount of red apples when it's killed. So now I'm going to put in the next constructor, which is going to be protected boolean can despawn. So this is saying can it despawn if it's set, if the difficulty is set to peaceful, and because it's a friendly animal, because that's the only thing that animals can be friendly, we're going to return false. So now this next constructor is a constructor that says what animal is spawned, what baby animal is spawned when the parents mate. So you have to put public entity animal spawn baby animal, and then in brackets entity animal par1 entity animal, and then inside the curly brackets we're going to put return new, and then entity name, so entity green cow, brackets, and we're going to put world lowercase, and then O capital O, and then BJ. So this is saying that when the parents mate, a baby version of the entity green cow is spawned, and basically all the game does is keeps the head the same size and just shrinks the body. That's all it does to your entity. So that's the entity spawn baby animal. And now these last 2 things you can get from pretty much any entity animal, but I've got it from entity cow, so it's these things here. And I think what I took them out and put them back in, and the spawning, the following the wheat and everything worked better with these in, so there might be like code that helps the code here help. I'm not sure about that, but just put that in. If you don't want to put it in, then don't. If you do and want the code to work a bit better, then do put it in. And that's basically our entity green cow class